Imagine this. 3 men walking into a flooded, radioactive tunnel, knowing there's almost no chance of survival, to stop an explosion so massive it could have wiped out half of Europe. This isn't a movie. This happened, and almost no one knows their names. Today, you're going to learn the real story of the 3 Chernobyl divers, the men who changed the fate of an entire continent.
April 26, 1986. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine explodes during a safety test. In seconds, the roof tears open, the reactor core is exposed, and radiation floods into the sky. Firefighters rush in without knowing the danger. Operators fight to understand what went wrong. The Soviet Union tries to hide the truth. But the worst part wasn't the explosion. It was what was about to happen next. Under the reactor was a huge pool of water, thousands of gallons. If the melting fuel reached that water, scientists predicted a thermal blast so powerful it would have destroyed all 4 Chernobyl reactors, released unimaginable radiation, and rendered parts of Europe uninhabitable for centuries. This was not an exaggeration. This was math. This was physics, and time was running out.
The solution was simple, but terrifying. Someone had to enter the flooded tunnel beneath the reactor and manually open the valves to drain the water. Radiation levels were extremely high. The tunnels were dark. The water was cold, contaminated, and deep. Officials asked for volunteers. Most people looked at the floor. Would you blame them? But 3 men stepped forward.
Alexei Onanenko, an engineer who knew exactly where the valves were. Valery Bezpalov, another engineer with unmatched technical skill. And Boris Baranov, a supervisor who refused to let the younger men go alone. These were not soldiers, not superheroes, not people with death wishes, just workers who understood what would happen if they didn't go. Late at night, the 3 men put on their protective suits, knowing the suits could only do so much. They were given flashlights. Some say the lights barely worked. Some say they flickered out in the water. But the men continued forward anyway, guided by memory and teamwork. The deeper they went, the higher the radiation. Every second mattered. Every wrong turn could end everything. The tunnels were confusing. Pipes, metal beams, concrete walls. They waded through water up to their waists. They checked each pipe one by one. Minutes felt like hours. And then, Onanenko spotted the valve. With shaking hands, whether from cold or fear, no one knows, the men turned the massive wheel. Slowly, painfully, the water began to drain. When they were sure the pool was empty, the 3 men walked back out of the tunnel. Alive. Their action prevented a second explosion that scientists said could have devastated much of Europe. Millions of people, millions, owe their lives and land to 3 men whose names many will never hear. Popular stories claimed they all died shortly after the mission, but historical records show something different. All 3 survived the mission. 2 lived for decades. 1 passed away later from unrelated causes. They were heroes, and they lived to know it. History often forgets the quiet heroes, but these 3 men didn't just save a city. They saved half a continent. If you want more mind-blowing true stories the world never taught you, subscribe and let's keep exploring the hidden side of history.